Hello friends, welcome to my channel. This is Ranjini, and in this video we are going to see a new chapter, that is chapter 9, which is lines and angles. Okay, so even though the topic says lines and angles, in this chapter we are mainly going to discuss about angles. Okay, what are the types of angles and what are the certain rules of angles, and also a small topic wherein we are going to discuss about parallel lines. Okay, parallel lines, and there also angle comes in between. So this chapter is mainly going to be dealing with angles. Okay, so let's go into the chapter. Okay, so first what we are going to do is we are going to revise some of our previous topics which we have already discussed. Even in the last chapter we have already discussed it. So this is just going to be a revision for you. Okay, so if we are taking lines, first let's take the topic lines. Okay, so what are the types of straight lines, or we have three things like what is the difference between lines, line segment and rays. This you already know, but we are just going to revise. Okay, so there are mainly we have to differentiate among line segments, line and rays. Okay, so first is lines, second one is line segment, and third one is ray. Okay, so what is the difference? So if you are taking lines are going to be a continuous thing without any end. Okay, so if you are going to take a line like this line will extend on both sides till infinity. Okay, there is no end point for lines. Okay, so this is line. Okay, so if you are saying a line AB, we'll write AB, and on the top of this will be the symbol for AB. Okay, now let's take line segment. What is the line segment? Line segment means it will have two specific endpoints. Okay, so this will be A and this will be B. Okay, and it will have a fixed measurement also. Line segment AB of 5 centimeter means that the line segment will only be for 5 centimeter and it will have two fixed endpoints. Okay, so this is line segment. Okay, this is the symbol for line segment. And what about ray? Ray will have one endpoint and the other endpoint will keep on extending. There is no other endpoint. Okay, so it will have only one point. Okay, so this is a ray. Okay, so for example we say rays of sun. The rays of sun starts from sun. Okay, but does it have an endpoint? No, it can go up to infinity, right? So it is an example of ray. Okay, so ray can be expressed as AB, on the top of it one arrow mark. Okay, this is the representation of a ray. Okay, so I hope now you are clear about the difference between lines, line segment and rays. Okay, now the next thing what we are going to discuss is angles. Okay, angles. So when is an angle formed? An angle is formed when two lines or line segments or rays intersect at a particular point. Correct? So let this be one line AB. Okay, let this be another line CD. They both intersect at the point E. Okay, so we have four angles here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we have four angles here. So angles are formed when two lines or line segments or rays intersect at a particular point. Okay, another example is take this way. Okay, AB is a line segment and CD is another line segment and they intersect at the point E. Now again we have four angles, 1, 2, 3 and 4. We have four angles. Okay, now clear about the angles. Angles are formed when lines or line segments or rays intersect at a particular point. Okay? Okay. Let's now see the different kinds of angles. Okay? Some certain angles we have already seen and we are very well aware of these angles. Just take this as a revision. Okay? So the first angle is acute angle. What is an acute angle? When an angle lies between 0 and 90 degrees, we call it an acute angle, right? For example, this is an acute angle. Let this be A, let this be B and C. Okay, so this lies between 0 and 90 degrees, right? Let this be 45 degrees. Okay, so this is an acute angle. Okay, if an angle lies between 0 and 90 degrees, we call it an acute angle, right? Now, next one is a right angle. What is a right angle? When an angle measures exactly 90 degrees, okay, we call it a right angle. Okay, that is, a right angle will be like this: A, B, C. Okay, this is 90 degrees. Okay, so this is a right angle. Okay, now what is the next one? Obtuse angle. What is an obtuse angle? Obtuse angle is an angle which lies between 90 degree and 180 degree. Okay, for example, A, B, C. Okay, let this be 110 degrees. Okay, so this is an obtuse angle. Measurement lies between 90 degree and 180 degree. Okay, this is an obtuse angle. Now what is the fourth angle? Straight angle. What do you mean by straight angle? It is nothing but a straight line. That is, if an angle measures exactly 180 degrees. So how will it look? Just a straight line. A, B, C. This angle is 180 degree, right? So if an angle measures exactly 180 degrees, we call it a straight angle. Okay. Now the last one is a reflex angle. What do you mean by reflex angle? Reflex angle is an angle whose measurement is between 180 and 360 degrees. Okay. That is, if we have an angle like this. Okay. This is A, B and C. Okay. So how will you measure this angle? This is the measurement of this angle, right? So you have to measure it this way. This angle is a reflex angle. Okay, it lies between 180 and 360 degrees. So first is acute angle. Acute angle lies between 0 and 90. Right angle is exactly 90 degrees. Obtuse angle is 90 and 180 degrees. Straight angle is exactly 180 degrees. And reflex angle is from 180 to 360 degrees. That is a reflex angle. Okay. Now we will go ahead and see the other kinds of angles. Next is complementary angles. Okay. Till now we were talking about only one angle. Okay. Here onwards we will be talking about a pair of angles. Okay. So what do you mean by complementary angle? So when you hear the name complementary, the first thing you should remember is 90 degrees. Okay. So what is a complementary angle, or what are complementary angles? When the sum of two angles is equivalent to 90 degrees, the angles are said to be complementary angles. Okay. Or they are said to be complement of each other. Okay. So for example, see, here we have two angles, ABC and DEF. Okay. So ABC measures to 60 degrees and DEF measures to 30 degrees. Okay. So if you add these two measurements, What is the total? 60 plus 30 is equal to 90 degrees. Okay. So here the sum of two angles is equal to 90 degrees. So we call angle ABC and angle DEF are complementary. Okay. So these two angles are complementary angles. So clear with this? Now they will give you one angle and they will say both the angles are complementary and you will have to find the other angle. For example, see, they will say there are two angles, angle PQR and angle XYZ are complementary. Okay. Angle PQR is equal to 70 degrees. Okay. Find angle XYZ. Okay. This will be the question. So how will you do it? See, they have said both the angles are complementary. That means that sum of both the angles is equal to 90 degrees. And they have given one angle. So it is very easy to find out the other angle, right? So angle PQR, that is 70 degrees plus, let angle XYZ be X. Okay, we denote it by X, is equivalent to 90 degrees since they both are complementary. Okay, so what is X? X is equal to 90 minus this 70. If we take it to this side, 90 minus 70, that is equivalent to 20 degrees. Okay, so angle XYZ is equal to 20 degrees. So clear with this? Clear with the complementary angles? Now we go on to our next type of angle, which is supplementary angles. Okay, what are supplementary angles? That is, if the sum of two angles is equivalent to 180 degrees, both the angles are said to be supplementary angles, or they are supplementary to each other. Okay, so if the sum of two angles, let one angle be ABC, which is equivalent to 120 degrees. Okay, and the other angle PQR is equivalent to 60 degrees. Okay, this is 120 degrees, this is 60 degrees. So what is the sum of both the angle? 120 plus 60 is equivalent to 180 degrees. Okay, so angle ABC and angle PQR are supplementary angles. Okay, if the sum of two angles is equivalent to 180 degrees, the angles are said to be supplementary angles. Okay, so in the same way, just like complementary angles, they will give two angles are supplementary and they will give the measurement of one angle and they will tell you to find the other angle. Okay, so it's very easy, right? For example, angle ABC is equivalent to 90 degrees. Okay, you have to find angle PQR. Okay, and they have set ABC and angle PQR are supplementary. Okay, now find angle PQR. Okay, so how will you do it? Angle ABC equal to 90 degrees. So 90 degrees plus angle PQR, let's take it as X. X is equal to, since they are supplementary, the sum is equal to 180 degrees. So what is x? X is equal to 180 minus 90 is equivalent to 90 degrees. So clear with this? Okay. So these are supplementary angles. Okay. Now let's move on to our next type of angle. Okay. So the next type of angle which we are going to see is adjacent angles. Okay. So how do we check if two given angles are adjacent or not? Okay, there are some rules which we have to check before deciding two angles are adjacent or not. Okay, so we are going to see the rules one by one. So first rule is they should have a common vertex. Okay, second point is a common arm. Okay, and the third point is a pair of non-common arm on either side. Okay, so these are the main points which we have to consider before deciding whether two given angles are adjacent or not. Okay, and another point is no common interiors. Okay, okay, so what do you mean by common vertex? What is a vertex? See, there is an angle like this. This is your vertex. Okay, and these are two arms. This is one arm and this is another arm. Let this be A, B, C. B is the vertex, and which are all the arm? A, B and B, C are the arms of the angle. Okay, so what have they said? There should be a common vertex. Okay, so if two angles should have a common vertex means what? This vertex should be common to both the angles. Okay, now what is the next one? A common arm. Okay, so let BC be the common arm. Okay, so once I draw the other angle also, you will get to know how we are saying the two angles are adjacent. Okay, so what is the third one? A pair of non-common arm. Okay, so we said this is a common arm. Okay, so this should be the non-common arm of one angle, right? So on either side of the common arm there should be non-common arms. Okay, so this is one side, we have AB. On the other side also we should have a arm like this. Okay, so let this be BD. Okay, BD is the other arm. Okay, so now we have two angles. This is one angle, this is other angle. Okay, so let's check if all the rules are satisfied. Okay, first, what is the first rule? Common vertex. B is the common vertex for these two angles. That is, one angle is angle ABC and the other angle is angle CBD. Okay, so here B is the common vertex for both the angles. Okay, what is the next point? A common arm should be there. Okay, which is the common arm here? BC is the common arm here. Okay, what is the third point? A pair of non-common arms. Okay, so AB and BD are the pair of non-common arms on either side of the common arm BC. Okay, and what is the fourth point? No common interiors. Okay, so for this angle and this angle, is there any common interiors? What do you mean by interiors? This one. Okay, this is the interior for this angle and this is the interior for this angle. Angle ABC. Okay, so is there any common interior? No. Okay, so we can say angle ABC and angle CBD are adjacent angles. Okay, so first rule is that they should have a common vertex. Second rule is that they should have a common arm, and the third rule is that they should have a pair of non-common arms on either side of the common arm. Okay, and another fourth rule is that they should have no common interior points. Okay, so if two angles satisfy all these four conditions, the two angles are said to be adjacent angles. So clear with what is an adjacent angle? Okay. Now this is an example of an adjacent angle. Okay. See, in a clock where there are three hands. Okay. Where there is a second hand also. Okay. So minute hand, hour hand and second hand. Okay. So this is an angle and this is an angle. Correct. So there is an angle between minute hand and hour hand, and an angle between this hour hand and this seconds hand. Okay. So what will happen? So here we have an angle and here we have an angle. So here we have a common arm here, which is the hour hand, and this forms the non-common arm, and this is a common vertex, and there are no common interiors. Correct? So these two angles form adjacent angles. Okay, so this is an example of where we can find adjacent angles. Okay, so now let's move on to our next topic, which is a type of adjacent angle. Okay, so we know now what is an adjacent angle. Now we are going to see a type of adjacent angle. Okay, which is linear pair. Okay, linear pair. Okay, so a linear pair is a pair of angles, okay, which are adjacent angle. Okay, which are adjacent angle, but these adjacent angles satisfy one condition. So let's see what is that condition. Okay, so now we said there is a common vertex. Okay, and we said there is a common arm. Correct? There is a common arm, and there are two non-common arms on either side. Correct? Now these two non-common arms should form a straight line. Okay? So let's draw this one. See? Let this be A, B, C and D. Okay? So these two are adjacent angles, right? They satisfy all the conditions of adjacent angles. They have a common vertex, they have a common arm, and they have two non-common arms on either side of the common arm, and there is no point which is common to in the interior of two angles. Correct? So these two angles are adjacent angles, but they have a special thing in them, that is the two opposite sides, that is the two non-common sides form a straight line. Okay, just like this. So two angles which are like this can be called as linear pairs. Okay, so linear pair is also an adjacent angle, that is two angles which are in linear pair are also adjacent angles, but the special thing is that the two non-common arms form a straight line in linear pair, but in adjacent angle they need not be in straight line, right? See, these two are adjacent angles. Correct? The non-common sides are not straight lines, but if they form straight line, they are called as linear pairs. Okay? Now let's take this ruler. Okay, let's take this ruler and this marker. Okay, so there is an angle here and there is an angle here. Correct? Now these two angles, this angle and this angle, are said to be in linear pair. So clear with this? Okay, now let's move on to our next topic. Okay, now the next thing which we are going to see is vertically opposite angles. Okay, so what are vertically opposite angles? Now see, for example, let two lines intersect at a point. Okay, so this is AB, and this is CD. Okay. So how many angles did we get here? When two lines intersect at a point, let this center point be O. Okay. So how many angles did we get? This is angle AOC, angle COB, angle BOD, and angle AOD. Okay. So we got 4 angles, angle AOD. Okay. So we got 4 angles here when two lines intersect at a point. Okay. Now this angle and this angle are called vertically opposite angle, that is angle AOC and angle DOB. Okay. These two are called vertically opposite angles. Okay. And angle AOD and angle COB are called vertically opposite angles. Okay. So here there are 2 pairs of vertically opposite angles. What are the pairs? The first one is angle COB and angle AOD. Okay. So they are in the opposite sides, right, of the vertex, right? They are in the opposite sides of the vertex. So they are said to be vertically opposite. Okay. So AOD and COB are one pair of vertically opposite angle. Okay. What is the other pair? AOC and DOB are the other pair of vertically opposite angle. Clear? Because they are in the opposite sides of the vertex. Okay. So there are 2 pairs of vertically opposite angles when 2 lines intersect at a point. Clear with this? Okay. Now there is a special property here. Okay. That is, the pair of vertically opposite angles will be equal. That is, angle AOC is equivalent to angle BOD. Okay. So these 2 angles will be always equal. Okay. Now what is the other pair? Angle AOD is equivalent to angle BOC. Okay. So the vertically opposite angles will always be equal. Okay. So now how will the question be? They will give you this diagram. Okay. They will give you this diagram showing the 4 angles. Okay. And they will give you the measure of one angle. For example, this angle, they will give you this angle as 120 degrees. Okay. Find angle DOB. So how will you find? Angle DOB is also equivalent to 120 degree, right? Because these are vertically opposite angles. Now if they tell you to find, if they give you this measurement, angle AOC, that is 120 degree, and if they tell you to find angle COB, how will you find? You know that this is a straight line, right? So these are linear pairs, angle AOC and angle COB. These 2 are linear pairs. What do you mean by linear pairs? The sum of the angles in a linear pair will always be how much? 180 degrees, right? Because this is 180 degree. This they have given as 120 degree. So how much is this? 180 minus 120. So this should be 60 degrees. Correct? Now what is this angle? Angle DOB will be 120 degrees because they are vertically opposite angles. Now what is this one? AOD. Now this COB and AOD are vertically opposite angles, right? So if angle COB is equal to 60 degree, what is the measurement of angle AOD? It also will be 60 degrees. Okay. Now there is a proof given in the textbook for showing that the vertically opposite angles are equal. Okay, so let's go into that proof. Now this angle COB plus angle AOC is equal to 180 degrees, right? Angle COB plus angle AOC is equivalent to 180 degrees. Correct? So what is angle COB? Angle COB is equivalent to 180 minus angle AOC. Correct? Now take this line. Okay? DOC. This is a straight line, right? DOC is a straight line. Correct? So this angle AOD and angle AOC are linear pairs. Correct? So let's take this line. This line. Okay? So if you take this line, angle AOD and angle AOC are linear pairs. That means that angle AOD plus angle AOC is equivalent to 180 degrees. Correct? So from this what can we write? Angle AOD is equivalent to 180 minus angle AOC. Correct? So let this be the first equation and this be the second equation. Okay? Now compare the two equations. Angle COB is equal to 180 minus angle AOC. Angle AOD is equal to 180 minus angle AOC. What does that mean? Angle COB is equal to angle AOD. From equation number 1 and 2. Correct? Now that is what we have to prove, right? Angle COB is this angle. Angle AOD is this angle, which are vertically opposite angles. Now we have proved that vertically opposite angles are equal. So in a similar way, we can prove that angle AOC is equal to angle DOB. They are also vertically opposite angle. So clear with this? Now in the next video, we will be seeing a few exercise problems of this chapter and also the other topics. Okay? Till then, bye-bye.